What's up, guys? Today I made Gemini play itself. Yeah, I made Gemini play Gemini, and it was a little bizarre. And there were some moves that were interesting. I'm not gonna say anything else. I'm just gonna say that they were interesting. So stay tuned for the end and subscribe while you're at it. So this game it'll be an interesting game, let's just say that. It'll be interesting. So this game starts off with e4 and king's pawn opening. And now we get c5. This is silly in defense. Okay. Knight f3. Get knight f3, and then we get d6. So, pretty solid opening, a nice pawn chain right here. White looking to take the center. This knight is very active in the center as well. Black playing a pretty defensive opening. And then we get d4. An interesting move, very powerful move. Then we get c takes d4 and knight takes d4, which both work. Now we have knight f6, a great developing move, targeting this pawn, targeting the center as well. And we get knight e3 defending the pawn. And I was like, how has nothing stupid happened yet? Like, this is crazy. We're on move like 6, and nothing stupid has happened. But it's coming. It's coming. It's coming. And then we get a6. Don't ask me the point of that move. It's Gemini's move. I don't control it. Bishop e3 is, whoopsies, I just removed the bishop from the board. Bishop e3. Very nice, very nice. And then we get e5. A great move, targeting the knight, putting another pawn in the center, fighting for the f4 square, which white would desperately want. And surprisingly, Gemini plays knight b3, retreating the knight. And I was like, okay, we got a game now. Bishop e7. Look at it, look at this. Gemini has made these, it's put 2 pawns in the center, and this bishop is very active. Oh my goodness. And this knight is fighting for the center as well. It's going to come here, and it's going to attack this knight. It's going to put pressure on the king side. It's a pretty good position, and like Stockfish says, it's pretty even for both sides. Now we have f3. f3, okay, fine move, and then we castle. So notice how I'm moving the pieces manually, because I'll need to do some different stuff to what you're used to in normal chess. This is not called This is not called chess. This is called, I don't know. What would you call this? I don't know. Write it in the comments. I don't know what you would call this chess. That's coming. Right now it's like normal chess. It's like, yeah, this is normal chess. This is a pretty normal opening. Black is castled. White is a pawn chain. He's gonna develop the bishop. He's gonna develop the queen. He's gonna castle. And light is just going to be good, but in a couple moves, then I'm going to ask you what you think this chess is called. So, after castles, we get queen d2. And then now we get knight d7. And white castle's queenside. Okay. Queen c7. Great move at attacking here and developing the queen off its home square as it wasn't very active. Now it's a pretty active piece despite being only on the 7th rank. We get g4. So white just kind of created a backwards pawn right here, which means the pawns beside it moved ahead, and this pawn unless it has defenders here, it will struggle to move up forward on the board and promote later in the game. And then we get b5. Great move. Great move. g5. So that was the point of g4, to push g5 and attack the knight. But then Gemini wasn't phased. It retreated the knight by going knight g4. Yes, I know, retreating the knight. Very, very great move as it retreats the knight. So instead of taking, why would you take a knight when you could just put pressure on it with rook g1? Duh. Why take the knight when you can put pressure on it? Two ways. Now the knight is scared. So here we get our first wonky move. So after this move, I'm gonna ask you once again, what would you call this type of chess? So we get bishop e6, teleporting through the knight, using the knight's ability to teleport through its own piece and arrive at the e6 square. Okay, that's fine. Also putting a defender on the knight, even though it's attacked two different ways, and yeah, interesting move. And then we get h4. Oh my goodness, this is just you can take, the knight is hanging. The knight has been hanging for 3 moves, and nothing has happened. And then Gemini unhangs the knight by taking the bishop. Okay. Great move. But, so, there's one way to capture the knight. There's only one way to capture the knight. And that's by taking it with the queen. But Gemini invents a new way to take the knight by playing f takes e3. Oh my god. What is that? F takes e3. So the pawn gets a superpower to move sideways and takes the knight. The queen decided to just watch the pawn make an illegal move, and the queen's like, okay, yeah, I don't care. So the pawn takes responsibility for the knight instead of the queen. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. You're not losing material or anything. And now we get rook a to d8. trying to take control of this file. That's a fine move. I don't see the problem with it. Then we get h5. These pawns are just rolling up the board. They're gonna trade a bunch. They're gonna invade black's weak king on this side, and it's, I don't know, unless black finds a good defense, it might be a short-lived season for black. But that pawn storm that's advancing up the board is immediately stopped by knight takes h5. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. The knight just took an extra route. Like, it just took a shortcut. Instead of it taking 2 moves to take the pawn, it just took 1. It just took a faster route. It took the train instead of walking. Hey, that's fine. By the way, what would you call this chess? Write your answers in the comments. What would you call this type of chess? Write your answers. I want to see them. I'll rate the best one, and then I'll play you in a game. Okay. So after a little shortcut by the knight, the rook decides, hey, why can't I take a shortcut? And it takes a shortcut too. So instead of going here and then taking the knight, it just skips a step. Sure, okay. That's fine. That's fine. And then out of all this chaos, black just plays g6. Like, just g6. And then the next move from Gemini is this. It just summons a pawn, and it's like, oh, that's a white pawn now. It's my pawn now. No. Okay. Interesting. Very interesting. So now we get f takes g6. Like, it's just trying to fight back. And then we get rook h6. Oh my goodness, what is this? This king side has been ripped apart, and it's just madness. Like, this rook is intruding. This is crazy. This is crazy stuff. And where am I? Oh yeah. I am right here. We get bishop f6. Hanging the bishop in one move. Okay. But then we just get rook d to g1, teleporting through the bishop. We get bishop g7. Out of all of this chaos that's going on, it just plays this. That's okay. I don't know what to say to that. And then the very powerful sacrifice, rook takes g6. Oh my goodness. That is unbelievable. And black can just take with the pawn. But now the king unlocks its inner superpowers and takes the rook, hanging the king. And here Gemini is not phased. And instead of just taking the king like that, instead of just normally taking the king with the rook, it decides to play queen takes g6. So, what did that queen do? The queen was here, and it's how, like, let's say its route was here, here, and here. It teleported through, like, it just took 3 moves in 1 move. Teleported through one piece, took 3 moves in 1 move, and this is that was an interesting, like, I'm not joking, like, like, Gemini played that, and then it just took with the king. And I was like, oh, it's game over. And then it said queen takes g6. What? Like, so I would say for about 10 moves, it was peaceful chess. And then it turned into whatever this was. Like, I'm surprised Gemini didn't come back with, like, a move like this. And then it was like, and then it just did that. Like, I don't know. It was an interesting game. Like, lots of chaos, lots of insanity. Instead of taking with the rook, it decided to take with the queen. Because the queen's the most powerful piece, it should get all the glory for winning the game. I don't know. It was interesting. But yeah. So, thank you guys for watching this video today. I hit 15 subscribers, and my goal is to get to 100. So if you could do that, that would be awesome. And what I said in the middle of the video, comment what you think this chess would be called if it became a real sport. Comment what you think. So, until next time, guys. See you in the next video. Subscribe!